welcome back to Ken's Flying Channel! There's a good news and a bad news for today. The good news is I finally got my first camera, the Canon M50. Excellent camera to use for filming. Alright, okay. So the bad news is that the weather condition is horrible today. It's raining outside and the cloud is very low, which means we cannot go out and fly today. So, many of you asked me how can I learn to fly in the United States as a Chinese citizen. So today I'm here to answer this question, to provide you information about how much did it cost me to fly in the United States. Okay, so let me go through the whole process one by one with you. Let me begin by talking about the class structure for all different kind of pilots. So the interest level will be student pilot, and as long as you are active during the flight training, your instructor will issue you this certificate. Then the next level you can move to will be sports pilot, recreational pilot, or private pilot. So for sports pilot and recreational pilot, it doesn't require too much on the medical exam, and that could be the main difference between those two. Private pilot requires class 3 medical exam. For private pilot, there isn't any limitation for any kind of airplane you are going to fly to. But if you want to fly pure instruments, then you have to get the instrument reading down. And the next level will be commercial pilot. So for commercial pilot, somebody can hire you to fly for the airplane and pay you, and you can make profits through it. The highest level will be airline transportational pilot. At this stage, you will be able to work with the airline and fly with a very large jet. Alright, then let's begin to talk about the whole process about how to become a private pilot in the United States. Okay, so the first thing you have to do is very easy. You just have to go onto the Google and search the closest training school. After you find the closest training school, you just have to give them a call to tell them you're interested about flying, and usually most flying schools, they can offer you a flight tour. And that means there will be a discount, and they will allow you to fly with the instructor for an hour to let you get the feeling about flying. After the tour flight, if you decided you want to learn how to fly in the United States, you have to hang out with Federal Aviation for a while. You have to submit your personal information in their website. It's called FAAalien.com. The link is posted below. And what you have to do next is to talk with your flight training school. They will give you a fingerprint card. So on that card, you have to fill your information and then go to a local police office to do the fingerprint. And there will be a fee for the fingerprints, usually around 20-30 bucks. After you do done that fingerprint, you have to mail that fingerprints into the Federal Aviation. Then they will begin to check your background information, and it will usually take 1 or 2 weeks. So during this time, what I did was I got my medical exam done. So there's a website also posted down below, and you can just go onto that website to check the closest doctor who is qualified to run the Class 3 medical exam, which is good for all the private pilots. Alright, so back to the FAA stuff. After you submit everything, they should give you a feedback after 2 or 3 weeks. And after you get the approval, that approval will be good for 1 year. So then you can begin your training. For choosing flying instructor, it's always better to choose the most experienced flying instructor, because you don't want to put yourself in huge risk after you take off in the sky, because the only person who will be able to help you is your flying instructor. And by the way, you are the person who wants to learn how to fly, so during the flight, you don't want your instructor to take over the airplane if that's not necessary. You are the person who are trying to learn how to fly, so you have to control the airplane by yourself. There will be fear in your mind, but you have to find a way to knock down that fear. That's part of the learning process. If your instructors think you are qualified to do the whole flying process by yourself, to be able to handle the emergency situation, then he will sign a paper. Then you can take in that paper flying by yourself. So the next step you have to do is to study on the reading exam. And it's like driving a car, you have to take the reading exam, then it's the actual driving exam. And the location for you to take that reading exam will usually in your flying school. And I have a book recommend you to read for you to study on this reading exam. It's not too difficult, there's just around I think 60 questions on the reading exam, and it's all multiple choice. And after you pass the reading exam, as well you complete the 10 hours safe solo flight, then you can go to a check ride, which is a ride you have to be fly with the FAA flight examiner. What you have to do is do whatever he asks you to do, and he won't help you to control the airplane. You have to do everything by yourself. He will take notes. If you pass the exam, he will sign your private pilot certificate immediately, and then you can fly by yourself. Okay, so now let's talk about the pricing of the training. If you want to fly a Cessna 172, they will charge you around $130 per hour. Senior instructor, and that usually costs from $80 to $90. Okay, now let's calculate what will be the total cost for the whole process. So, as an FAA requirement mentions, they require 30 hours, which includes 20 hour dual flight and 10 hours solo flight. I've done all the calculation for you. It will cost you total $5,900, but usually people cannot finish the training within 30 hours. For example, it took me around 40 to 50 hours to finish the whole training process. And if we take 40 hours as an example, then the total cost will reach up to $8,000. And we have to plus this number with $200 for the reading material books, another $150 for medical exam, another $150 for the FAA background check, which is $500 in total. And we add two numbers together, it will be $8,500 for the total, which will cost you to fly in the United States. Okay, that's all I have to say about how can foreigner fly in the United States. If you find this video to be helpful, please thumbs up of my video and subscribe my channel. I will post a lot of video about me flying the airplane. And if you have any other question, please comment below. I will reply you as soon as I see your message. Bye bye!